Hi, Megan. So I'm looking at your rough draft. I think this looks pretty good. Let's see. You do have a clipped image of yourself, which is good. And that's clipped as well. You have kind of a hue saturation on that. And then the background layer. So one thing we might want to do with this is make sure that this is in CMYK color mode. So if you go to image mode, CMYK color, that will be helpful to your project grade. So make sure you do that. If you do that, it might change some of the adjustment layers that you made on some of these layers, but adjustment layers are not required, but the CMYK color mode is. So you might want to go ahead and do it anyway. Don't merge the layers when that little box comes up. Don't merge. Do what I did. If you have to rewatch the video to see what I did, go ahead and do that. If we go to image size, we can see that this isn't quite the right size. I think what you did is you opened up this background image of yourself first and then placed everything on top of that. Really what you should do is do a file, new, go to print, go to letter size, 8.5 by 11 inches, resolution of 300, and we want to put this in CMYK color mode. We could do transparent background contents. We don't need anything under advanced options here. We'll push create. So this should be the canvas that you work with, and then you can bring in, this image of yourself in the background. You might even want to clip this image of yourself out and then maybe bring in like a colorful pattern background. So just do a file, place embedded, bring in, that colorful pattern background maybe, maybe clip this image of yourself. You can turn off the eyeballs and the other layers. You can use the quick selection tool here, and we can kind of just go over the same process that we did in the clipping demo to clip you out. Sometimes pushing down just once with the tool works better than clicking and dragging. There's quite a bit of contrast here, but it might actually take a little bit to get this to work, especially with the white dog on the white background. But you would do select and mask, and you can actually do an inverse in here, or invert. It's the button here. And definitely the output selection too needs to be on layer mask down here. This output settings might not be open, so you might have to open that up and then put it on layer mask. You can put a feather on here to kind of, make it look a little better. Also, I would wait on the feather though, maybe, and then this is the brush tool. You can add or subtract to your selection. So maybe you might want to add the body of your dog back in by turning down this transparency so we can kind of see where the body is. I'm doing like a super quick job in bringing the dog back, but you get the gist of it. Sometimes it can take a while. You usually have to zoom in to get everything that you want to have in there. But maybe having the body of the dog back, put back in there. This dog's legs could probably be added back in. I mean, this is super crude. Hopefully you would do a little bit more of a thorough job with that. But yeah, so I think the other paws here, maybe. I might need to turn my transparency up even more to see what is going on. But yeah, something like that. And then, if we bring this feather out and just make sure output to layer mask is on, push OK. Now we have you clipped. You can kind of bring back in all your other things that you have. These look like kind of blurry images. That's another thing I'm a little concerned about. But honestly, at this stage, if you can get your two clipping, which you already have, you didn't need to clip this out, but it would be cool to maybe have like a bright color. And then, these look okay, but maybe you could have more of a generic, like a symbol of the ambulance maybe, since you work with the ambulance, and maybe like a symbol of, is it Life Flight? If they have logos, you could put that in, much like you did with this W logo here. You could just have those logos in there, and then the pictures of you and your dogs and you and your uniform, plus the colorful background. Hopefully you can do a file place embedded in a new document that's 8.5 by 11. That is in CMYK color mode. If you don't have time to make a new document, do file place embedded of these items in your document. I wonder if you can just do a Command C and then do a Command V. Yeah, you can. So you could just do, Command C, Command V, so you can bring all these things over into a better sized document. Of course, now you're really small because this is higher resolution, so you'd have to do a Command T or an Edit Free Transform to size your images up and rearrange things the way you want them to be. Obviously, these are too small on this canvas. But then also going on unsplash.com, they are a great place to get like pattern background. Maybe but maybe there's a certain pattern that you enjoy, or that's your favorite thing, or like that represents something about you. Some students are really into art, so they might use like a painted background. Some students are really into nature, so they might use like more of a nature background. Some people like watercolor backgrounds. But if you find one you like, just push this download button and on Unsplash. There's also freepik.com. This is a great one to go and look for photos. And then there's the other one, Pexels.com is another one that's great to look for photos. With Pexels, when you find something, you push the download button. Sometimes it asks you what size to download, like sometimes like large, medium, small, original. And I always just say go with the original size, which is the largest size, just because we want high resolution images for our document, our Photoshop document. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. I think you're doing good. Just keep it up, keep going. Don't forget to definitely get in your Photoshop self-portrait project, because it is worth, 10% of the overall grade for this course. So it's important to get that in for sure, especially over other things. And we are moving at a fast pace, but it's going to slow down as the semester progresses. We're going to take our time with Illustrator and not going to be moving quite so fast. So anyway, we'll talk to you later.